Everyone dreams of living an uncommon life, and the best asset you have to achieve your dreams is you. Welcome to the Uncommon Wealth Podcast. We're going to introduce you to people who are living uncommonly. We're also going to give you some tools and strategies for building wealth and for pursuing an uncommon path that is uniquely right for you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Phillip Ramsey, and you're listening to the Uncommon Wealth Podcast. Thanks for tuning in. Holy cow, we've got another great episode for you today, something that I feel like far too many people neglect, or they're scared to do it. But how do you track your numbers in your business? Or personally, you could totally deviate this and make this all about personal. I'm going to make it about business. I think it's important. But when I start coaching people, this is really where we start, is what in the world are important numbers for your business, and have you track them? Could be kind of boring to some people, but I love it. Okay. So here's the deal. At the end of the day, this has been a learned behavior for me. As I look back at just my whole career path, there was an individual that actually was a mentor of mine. His name was Mark Johnson, and it was back in my pharmaceutical days. And Mark was like relentless on our expense reports. Every month, go through, save your receipts on whatever expenses you had, save your mileage for whatever you had, and track it every month. Take a picture of the receipt, put it all together. It was like craft day for Philip. It was like cut and pasting, truly cut and pasting, because we didn't have a lot of digital stuff back then. Gosh, I'm dating myself. But I would just put it on a piece of paper. I would put the date on everything. I would circle the expense, and then I would submit that every month. And okay, so the greatest part about this that Mark knew is like it was only due once a quarter or once a year, one or the other. It was one of those. Okay. But what he knew is if we continued to do it monthly and did it well, it would develop a routine, and it would be far easier at the end of the year when everyone else is trying to do this stuff and do retroactively. You know, they don't have the receipts like we did. We were all done and it was completed. It looked great. And so I had this like instinct knowledge of how important it was to stay on top of your numbers. Okay. So now flash forward, I get this business, and I got introduced to this thing called the EOS, Entrepreneurial Operating System. It's a book out there, super powerful, but basically you try to run your business in 5 different pages: casting vision, core values, who your client type, where you want to go in 10 years. And then probably the biggest thing for me was the scorecard, it was called. And then you try to figure out what's important to your business and what things that you should track. And then every week you track those numbers. So for us, revenue is a good one. Expenses is a good one. So every week I go in and I look at all of our bank accounts and I go through, okay, what are the expenses for the week? What is the revenue for the week? And what are we trying to achieve, for the year? We have that every week since 2019. This is our 8th year doing it. So we did it all 2019, 2020, 21, 22, 23, 24, and 25. And we're in our 26, obviously. We're in our 8th year of tracking all these numbers. What is fascinating is sometimes we'll change our scorecard on what we're going to utilize and what we're going to track for the year. But for the most part, it stays pretty consistent. Like these are the numbers, and the EOS system kind of coaches you this way. If you are on a desert island and you needed to track the specific things that are the most important to your business, what are those 7 or 8 things, measurements that you would want to know on that desert island to know, like, we need to board a plane, and we need to get back there because things aren't going well. Those are the things. So for us, revenue, expenses. And so for the last 7 years, I can go back and see, like 2019, where were we on the 4th week of the year in revenue or expenses or all these different things? And also at the end of the day, like numbers tell a story if you can read them. And so when I bought my business partner out in 2023, our numbers didn't look great. Like expenses were high. Revenue was down. Just because we were trying to reacclimate on like, what's the new normal? What's the things that we really want to focus on? How can we serve our existing client base in an uncommon way? It was a complete rebuilding. So from 2023, probably March, till 2024, March, things were pretty kind of negative because in 2022, we had our highest year ever. 2023 was not the case. What happened? Well, I bought my business partner out. That's what happened. But you'll be able to speak to that stuff and then you can see how it impacts you. And so as we kind of continued to build the business and started to grow this in a way that I thought was an uncommon way, we could start seeing revenue start going up. We could start tracking things that are important to us. And we can have a record on the past, which is so powerful. I'm telling you guys, like now that I've done it for so long, I'll never stop doing it. And the best time to plant a tree was yesterday. The second best is today. So if you haven't done your numbers, I would challenge you to try to figure out the 7 metrics you want to measure and start today. Even if it's the 3rd or 4th week in January or in March when you're listening to this or May or November for all intents and purposes, start tracking it because then as you do this, you'll be able to see some trends and things that you can address. You can start thinking about like a CFO. You can start thinking about your business a little bit different. So if you don't track your numbers now, I would start. If you are tracking your numbers, take a look at those. See what stories they tell. That's what I got for you. I know it's not the most sexy topic, but I think it's important, especially when on this uncommon path, because I believe the more and more I'm into this, the joy needs to be the day-to-day operations, the journey. The joy needs to be in the journey, not the end result. Because at the end of the day, like my goals are always changing. Even when we achieve the goals, I'm always like, we can do better. Let's try to refine those things. So there's a little glimpse inside my brain about numbers and why they're important and what you could do to start making them important in your life. Thanks for listening. Till next time, track your numbers.
That's all for this episode, brought to you by Uncommon Wealth Partners. Be sure to visit uncommonwealth.com to learn more about our services. Don't miss an episode as we introduce you to inspiring people who are actively pursuing an uncommon life.